After that, Seijun receives all the rewards and has leveled up, thinking that he will get full XP for making the farmland. Promptly, the bunnies begin to dance in joy, shaking their booties and twirling around Seijun's while they sing along, bouncing in happiness. Confused, Seijun gets startled by the sudden dancing play, and the admin tells him that the bunnies are cheering him with a dance, wishing for a plentiful sweet potato harvest, and the dungeon admin herself joins the bunnies, chanting for roasting sweet potatoes. As the bunnies continue to cheer him on, our boy harvests the sweet potatoes. Digging up the soil, something shiny flashes through the hole, and a blinding ray of light beams through the soil. Harvesting that shiny sweet potato, it turns out to be a solar sweet potato as the status window pops up front. The solar sweet potatoes are sun-drenched at the highest point of the tower, and these sweet potatoes are full of solar energy. They each reduce hundreds of grams of body fat and make the body immune to colds for 20 hours when consumed. It is revealed that Seijun had made an accomplishment by breeding a new crop variety in the dungeon, and is jolted by this amazing news. The next scene takes us to the real world, where Dongshik comes out of his car with a box in his hand, assuming that it must be where Seijun's family resides. Later in the cave, Seijun and the bunnies stare at the solar sweet potato with astonishment. Freaking out, our guy receives plentiful rewards for harvesting the solar sweet potato, and for breeding a new crop in the dungeon. The admin acknowledges his ownership over the sales of the new crop variety, and concludes that no one will be allowed to grow these solar sweet potatoes without Seijun's permission. Exhilarated by the incredible deal, his work on the farm gets acknowledged by the admin, and he contemplates that he's the only person in the dungeon to breed the solar sweet potato variety, and concludes that others can only harvest and sell these, but they can't grow this solar sweet potato. After that, Seijun plants the solar sweet potato again under the soil. Wondering how the new variety tastes, he decides to grow it first and comes back to harvesting the sweet potato. Harvesting the regular sweet potatoes, the wagon bunny carries the sweet potato in the wheelbarrow, as the black bunny assists him in gathering all the harvested sweet potatoes. Completing all the work on the farm, they start preparing for lunch with grilling fish and steaming the sweet potatoes at the campfire. As the sweet potato gets fully steamed, Seijun cuts through the tantalizing steamed sweet potato and distributes it among the bunnies. The bunnies delightfully munch on the sweet potatoes cooked to perfection, fascinated by the scrumptious sweet potato, while the wifey bunny pats the hubby bunny as he burns his tongue with steaming hot sweet potato. The admin notifies Seijun that she's drooling over the delicious snack and is waiting for her turn. In appreciation for letting the bunnies eat first, Seijun offers a basket of 10 sweet potatoes to the admin, making the admin jump out of happiness. Our guy peeks at the leftover sweet potatoes and calls upon the sickle bunny to help with something. Meanwhile, Aileen, the tower manager, fills her stomach to the fullest by eating the scrumptiously steamed sweet potatoes, and thinks of asking Seijun for more if there are some leftovers as she watches him through the magic ball. It seems like our boy is trying to make sweet potato snacks as he puts them on the green onions to dry for tomorrow. Needing one more sweet potato to complete the batch, the sickle bunny impressively slices up the last sweet potato into the shape of fries, and Seijun compliments him for cutting the pieces so evenly. Wanting to ask for more sweet potatoes that are now cut into pieces, the admin gets frustrated at him for wasting the delicious sweet potato, but our fella makes it clear that he's not throwing them away, but drying the tiny pieces to make something mouth-watering later. Curious, the admin asks Seijun about what he will make out of these sweet potato sticks, and it looks like he is making dried sweet potato snacks, asking if the manager has tried it before. The scene then switches back to the real world, where Dongshik rings the bell of Seijun's apartment. As his family opens the gate, they are astounded to see a gentleman standing in front of their house, as he asks if the house belongs to Seijun Park's family. Reaching the right address, his family escorts him inside the house. Asserting that they haven't hosted guests in a while, Seijun's mother offers him some fruits and juice, and Dongshik appreciates their hospitality. Assuming that he's here to ask about Seijun, his family reveals that their son has gone missing for quite a while. Upon hearing this, he officially introduces himself as Dongshik Kim, the team leader of the Phoenix's Guild Team 5, handing out his business card. Abruptly, Seijun's brother freaks out witnessing that he's truly from the Phoenix Guild when he reads out his card. The parents are shocked by his frantic reaction, asking him what's the matter, on which the boy discovers that Phoenix is one of the top guilds in Korea, and he leads the Team 5, concluding that he's a top hunter. Listening to this jaw-dropping news, his parents are overwhelmed by such a well-known guest, serving him the premium melon. Flattered, Dongshik implores them to take a seat. After all this happens, his parents figure out that Dongshik is a hunter and start interrogating him about Seijun's whereabouts. To clear the air, Dongshik hands out an envelope towards them, telling them that Seijun had asked to give it to his parents. Assuming that their son had written a letter before his death, the parents start crying, uttering that children are not supposed to go before their parents. However, Dongshik confirms to them that he's alive. Realizing that it's not a letter, His parents open the envelope and it turns out to be 50 million won. Dongshik informs them that their son is doing well and apologizes for not contacting his parents before entering the tower, and he asks him to hand the check to his parents. It looks like Sejin is such a considerate son, getting trapped on the highest floor of the dungeon, but he managed to care for his family, making his family relieved that he's still alive. Overjoyed, his dad, thinking how smart Sejin is, gets proud of his son after he does such a great thing. Concerned, his mother speculates if Sejin is doing well in the tower, asking Dongshik why he couldn't visit himself. The leader explains that hunters cannot leave the tower because of quests, and it happens frequently to hunters. He further assures her not to worry about her son. Dongshik then greets his brother Sedol and interrogates him about his parents mentioning that Sejun had gone missing, and asks if any of his family knew about him entering the tower. But Sedol refuses and lets out that they could not get in touch with him for the past 5 months. After that, they even contacted the Korea Awakened Association, and they informed Sejun's family that he was not on their list. Sedol asks him if people use nicknames to enter the dungeon, to which Dongshik agrees that some people do, and assures him that it could be a minor error, adding that he will ask the association about it after returning to the guild. While his family ecstatically peeks at the cashier's check, Dongshik reckons that Sejun entered the tower without registering his name in the association. Assuming that he jumped straight to the 40th floor as a solo player, he surmises that the tower came into existence 10 years ago, and no hunter has made it to the 40th floor in such a short period, presuming that he's a once-in-a-lifetime genius hunter. I mean, our main character is becoming famous gradually without him knowing. Soon he might be on TV as a mysterious once-in-a-lifetime prodigy. Later, Sedol asks him if the guilds offer training, but his dad strikes a blow on his head, telling him that he should help his brother who is working hard in the tower. Assuming that he might have the talent for being a hunter, Dongshik warns him that it's a dangerous job that requires risking his own life, and concludes that he wouldn't suggest having more than one hunter from the same family, because there will be chances of the tragic incident occurring more than once. In the meantime, as Dongshik leaves their house, while Sejun's parents insist he eat something, he informs them that he came straight to their home from the tower and has to see his family. Departing, he sits in his car, takes a sigh of relief after completing the contract quest, and drives to his next destination as he talks to his daughter on the phone, excited to meet her and surprise her with the cherry tomatoes. We are then revealed that Teo is coming back to the cave munching on fish skewers, thinking the 99th floor is too far. The next day, as the sun shines on the cave, the carrot tops are dipped in the water, and our guy later plants them, earning plenty of rewards. It is revealed that Sejun had found a new way of planting carrot tops by taking the leftover carrot. After the leaves grow, they have covered the roots with soil. As the roots don't grow back once eaten, he collects the seeds from the flowers. Our boy looks at the flowers with admiration, reckoning that it's rewarding to see his hard work lead to incredible results. Meanwhile, the administrator sends him a message, waiting for the dried sweet potato snacks to be ready. Standing up, he heads over to see his snacks with the bunnies clinging onto his shoulder. Checking the dried sweet potatoes that look nice and dry, our boy takes a dried sweet potato snack and grabs a bite. Chewing on the snack, Sejun and the bunnies are left mesmerized, and their eyes sparkle with fascination at the savory flavor of the dried snack that strikes an impeccable balance between moisture and sugar with the dry surface. Sejun couldn't stop himself from eating more of those snacks, as the addictive soft and chewy sweet potato sticks are irresistible. It is revealed that these dried sweet potatoes are grilled under intense sunlight for 24 hours, which leads to the dry surface locking in the sweetness and moisture, and the chewy texture with sweet, savory flavor is hard to resist. He then decides to dry more of the sweet potatoes, preparing their go-to snack as the bunnies munch on a delicious snack. In the meantime, a notification is sent by the tower manager, indicating that Sejun has forgotten something. Loading the dried sweet potato snack in a bucket, the admin keeps annoying him, getting impatient to try the snacks. Feeling bad for sharing all his items in a green onion bowl, he gets a creative idea to pack the snacks and offer them to the admin. Recalling that he used to pack boxes as a part-timer, Sejun packs the sweet potato in a plastic bag with a strip, making it into a cute gift wrap, and offers it to the admin. To make the admin feel more special and make this new snack a memorable moment for the dungeon dragon, he offers them in a plastic bag that will keep them moist longer. However, it seems like the admin only wanted the sweet potatoes and nothing extra with them. She barely notices the gift wrap and disappears after taking her snacks. Poor Sejun, who had spent his time making a gift wrap, didn't expect an expressionless reaction from the admin, and felt disappointed. The scene shifts to the tower manager, who is extremely hooked by the adorable sweet potato gift, thinking how she can eat such a sweet gift. It seems like her reaction was more than expected, as she was filled with admiration after receiving the heartfelt gift sent by Sejun to make her feel special. In the cave, Uncle Sejun, along with all the young bunnies, are having the time of their lives as they chew on the delicious dried sweet potato snack, speculating that they might end up finishing all the 40 sweet potatoes as the day comes to an end. Enjoying their snack, the queen bee joins them and gives Sejun a cornflower pollen ball in his hand. Getting unmindful of the corn seeds, he then heads towards the field where he had planted all the corn seeds, witnessing that they have grown into big corn stalks. He takes a guess about the queen honeybee collecting the corn pollen because the corn doesn't produce honey, while the baby bees inspect the cornflower field. Our boy then decides to try that pollen ball the honeybee had handed him, mentioning that people eat them as health supplements, and tosses the ball into his mouth. Sejun is delighted by the mixed flavor of the corn ball that nearly tastes like cotton candy, giving a slightly bitter and rich sweet flavor, and seems to love the corn ball while thanking the queen bee. Watching his cheerful reaction, the queen honeybee calls upon the baby bees who are working on the cornfield. The baby bees start dropping plenty of the collected cornball pollens into Sejun's hand. In the meantime, Teo seems to get back from his long journey, leaping into the cave. Unpleasantly surprised by the sight of the queen bee, Teo gets scared by the bee and starts growling at her. Sejun makes him sure that she's on their side, and Teo sniffs the queen bee to make himself convinced. However, the poor cat starts sneezing and cleans his nose with Sejun's shirt, muttering that he hates pollen. Feeling disgusted by Teo as cleans his nose with his shirt, he gets worried about getting his shirt dirty, the only one he owns. Interrogating him about the mission, Teo delightfully mentions that he has completed every single mission he had assigned to him, and also sold out on the items. Confirming if his family knows how he is doing, Teo peeks up at the contract quest window, which is completed, asserting that the task has been completed, as he reckons if his parents must have received news of his well-being and the cashier's check of 50 million won. Teo convinces him that the dungeon contracts are reliable, affirming that he will go down to the dungeon floors to confirm everything is in order, and Sejun appreciates his efforts. Feeling guilty for not talking to his parents and his brother Sadal before coming to the dungeon, Sejun reckons that his family must have been worried about him. Mentioning how his family would react after learning about him working as a dungeon farmer alongside fellow bunnies, he wonders how his family would react if he told them about his farming life in the dungeon, guessing that his brother Sadal would make fun of him because he loves teasing, while his dad with an innate talent for growing plants. He assumes that his dad would lecture him about fertilizing and stuff related to plants. Thinking about his family's reactions, he realizes that his talent for farming must have come from his dad. As he starts getting emotional, he gets reminded of his mother's favorite kimchi stew, concluding that he misses his family as he stares up at the cloudy sky from the cave. Imagining all the heart-rending moments with his family, our fella gets a little sentimental. However, his sad hour is interrupted by the black bunny who taps on his feet. It seems like the bunnies and bees have figured out that Sejun is going through a sad moment, as they all gather around him to make him feel better. Assuming that now they are his family, he gets coddled up by the bunnies and the queen bee who sits on his head, while Teo asks him if he's a family too. Ensuring that he's the one and only intern of their family, Teo's mind drifts towards the dungeon coins he had earned and the stuff he has brought for the family. The cat comes clean and honest, revealing that he had spent 14.2 dungeon coins on shopping and 50 dungeon coins on the contract, which leaves the remaining balance that is 208.8 dungeon coins. Lifting the heavy bag of dungeon coins, Sejun is amazed to see the high amount of dungeon coins. Teo mentions that our boy was right about the auction as people were more than willing to pay, and shows him all the stuff he had bought from the middleman zone market, such as ladles, pans, spoons, bowls, and blankets. As they happily go through all the stuff, Sejun, who is holding a saucepan, notices that the stuff Teo had bought are also items, as they are also made in the dungeon. Confused about why he couldn't see the name of the producer who had made the saucepan, another item caught his eye, and it seemed to be a dagger. Our boy gets hooked and falls in love with the dagger, as it is the first proper weapon he had seen in the dungeon. As Teo gives a colorful paper toy to the young bunny, our guy asks him about the dagger and where he bought it, on which the cat reveals that he bought the dagger from the blacksmith's workshop, who had a clearance sale, so he picked it up because he liked it. Presuming that he matches the user requirements for using a dagger, Sejun thinks about giving it a try. However, he gets halted by the dungeon admin, who warns him that he can have serious consequences for using unverified items. The admin proceeds to warn Sejun to inspect the items and asks him to send the unverified dagger to the dungeon admin. But it looks like the tower manager is just trying to fulfill her cravings, as she sends a new quest to him, asking him to send her dried sweet potatoes to the dungeon dragon as a gift, with the reward being an inspected dagger and a serious declining outcome, which is failing to retrieve the dagger. Hiding her true intentions, the admin denies the fact that she is doing all this for the dried sweet potatoes, and Sejun eventually learns about her true intentions as she drools over the sweet potatoes. Mentioning that the admin took some sweet potatoes earlier as well, he He agrees upon the quest for the only reason to not use an unverified item that could get him in trouble. Analyzing, the admin strongly inspects the dagger, and it turns out that the dagger is not a harmful item to use. After that, the admin gets her sweet potatoes while Seijun retrieves the training dagger as a reward. It is revealed to us that the unverified item appears to be Kane's training dagger used by Kanes, who is the ranger of the Red Mountains for training purposes, asserting that it's a heavy dagger due to black steel in its manufacturing to add weight. Reading all the info about the dagger on the status window, Seijun is shocked after knowing that it's a name equipment. Reckoning that the name equipment costs at least 100 million won per piece outside the tower, he realizes why it's a rare and valuable equipment item. Smirking, our guy recalls how he thought that Teo was a naive pushover, but it appears that he possesses an incredible talent. The next scene takes us outside the cave, where the crimson grizzly bear, the monster Teo talked about earlier who lives far from their cave, is sniffing something, and it appears to be a cute red-crimson cub. Later, Teo enjoys his kitty treats to the fullest, while Seijun, acting like a pro hunter, holds the dagger, slashing awe-striking blows at the green onion plants, cutting them in a blink of an eye. As he slices the plants flawlessly with the dagger, the bunnies start applauding him and cheers him on. While Teo asks him if he likes the dagger, Seijun says that he is impressed with Teo for bringing him such a great item. Infuriated, the cat reminds Seijun that he had promised him to make the CEO for an hour. While Seijun pats his head and compliments him, he starts calling him Teo the CEO. Teo decides to forgive him, but tells him to be careful next time and clasps his paw on Seijun's hand. Touching his squishy paw, our guy thought about taking Teo as a pushover, but as he holds his paws, he realizes that Teo's paws are a golden charm and adores him for how cute he is. Teo annoyingly asks him to stop playing with his hands, but Seijun, who seems to be obsessed, keeps pressing his cute little squishy paws, calling them cute. Can't resist his love for cats, our guy makes the cat sit in his lap, coddling him up as he offers a treat to the grumpy CEO. Glancing at his paw, sneaky Teo puts on a cunning grin and presumes that Seijun is also a human after all. Finding that his paws can make humans obsessed, the peddler cat plans to rule over all the humans by tricking them with his squishy paws, concluding that his paws are truly a lucky charm. As Teo gets cocky, he implores for more treats, ordering Seijun around and tells him that they don't have all day. This sudden change in his attitude leaves our boy to reckon that he doesn't like his arrogant tone at all, and puts him off his lap. Asserting that the time is up, he makes Teo a regular intern again, dismissing him from his position as a CEO. Angry Teo gets frantic and reminds him that it's too early. Wanting to be CEO again, he protests to give him an extension, but our fella boldly refuses. Furious, Teo immediately comes up with another killer tactic to become a CEO again, while he searches for something in his bag. He calls upon Seijun, aiming to hit his weak point, which turns out to be the stuff he had gathered from the girl hunters for taking selfies with them. Pulling out all the stuff from his bag, wide-eyed Seijun gets utterly smitten when he witnesses all the spices and condiments in sight. While he peeks at them with pleasure, Teo tells him about how he fetched all the spices after taking plenty of selfies with people. Yearning for these spices, Seijun, who seems desperate, pours out salts in his hand and licks it only to be mesmerized by its flavor. Smelling all the spices, he lets out that he missed all these flavors that vanished from his life after he entered the dungeon. As he feels happier than ever, and it seems like Teo smoothly activates his killer tactic, taking advantage of the moment, he requests Seijun to make him the CEO for the next 2 hours. Overjoyed, Seijun picks up the cat in his hands, making him twirl. Out of sheer happiness, he decides to make Teo the CEO for the next 24 hours, while the bunnies inspect all the spices lying on the ground. Later, with all the spices in his reach, a flavorful smoke diffuses across the cave, and it occurs that Seijun is sprinkling spices on his freshly cooked fish. With a flavorful skewer of fish and green onion in hand, the mouth-watering aroma of the food mixed with spices disperses across the cave, waking up the young bunnies from their sleep. All the bunnies appear to be out of their houses. Seijun welcomes them to join him for breakfast, to treat them with his special treat, as the skewers get grilled by the campfire. Thrilled, the bunnies catch sight of the tantalizing food, and Seijun mentions to them how he seasoned some with fish with salt and some with pepper to choose which flavor he wants to eat, distributing the snacks among the bunnies. It seems like the white bunnies find the flavor of the pepper too strong as they make disgusted faces, but the black bunny enjoys his snack. Meanwhile, Seijun peeks over at the CEO, who seems to be asleep, and wakes him up for breakfast with a grilled fish in his hand. Waking up to the sight of delicious breakfast, Seijun asks him to choose between salt and pepper seasoning. Offended, Teo makes it clear not to add something weird to the fish. Getting cranky, Seijun then gives him the simple grilled fish which he likes the best, while the cat mumbles that he doesn't appreciate the flavorful seasonings with grilled fish. In the meantime, Seijun and the bunnies get back to work on the cherry tomato field, where he harvests the cherry tomatoes with the dagger and earns plenty of rewards, increasing his familiarity level with harvesting. Presuming that the canine's dagger features not only apply to combats but all skills involved in using this dagger, it turns out that it increases the skill 5% faster as his skills also increase faster. Impatient to boost his familiarity with the help of the dagger, he becomes super motivated to work hard on the farm, ordering Teo, the CEO, to take these cherry tomatoes. The CEO argues why he should be doing all his and puts the cherry tomatoes in his bag. Sejun, calling himself a president, tells him that he cannot get his hands dirty, making Teo flinch as he qualifies himself as a president. Teo asks him if a president is more senior than a CEO, to which Sejun orders him to get back to work. In that moment, he thinks of an idea after hearing this, saying that he will work hard. With an evil grin, Teo dreams of becoming a president and taking control of Sejun's lap and petting. The peddler cat then hops on his way after filling his rucksack with the cherry tomatoes. As the peddler is about to leave, Sejun reminds him to buy stuff from the shopping district and make sure to stop by the blacksmith's workshop to pick up items on clearance, adding that he can't put Teo's exceptional talent to waste. After listening to his last-minute errands, Teo jumps out of the cave, waving him goodbye. Sejun decides to take a break soon after harvesting the cherry tomatoes, and continues to harvest them with the dagger that helps him increase his skills faster, and he gets rewarded. Cutting off a bunch of 6 cherry tomatoes, our guy receives 90 XP points. It is revealed that the magic cherry tomatoes harvested by the dagger dissolve 20 grams of body fat and increase magic by 0.2 magic points for 10 minutes, also boosting energy levels when consumed. He realizes that it's a level D crop, and the benefits of fat dissolving, magic boosting effects, and the expiration have all doubled, which seems to be a great privilege for him. While the bunnies work in the cherry tomatoes field, our boy believes that all of the cherry tomatoes seem to be level D produce, which leaves him to wonder if they bear level D fruit after he upgraded to be a level D farmer. Harvesting the level D produce of cherry tomatoes, he contemplates that they could have sold out these new cherry tomatoes produce if Teo wouldn't have left early, and realizes that they will now get to eat better tomatoes as he decides to eat the tomatoes as a snack and takes a nap along with the bunnies. As Teo walks through his way, he gets a hunch about forgetting something, leaving him worried. The next scene then takes us to Aileen the Black Dragon with her big shadow, as she approaches a sculpture, which appears to be her model. It is known to us that it's an ice sculpture of the Black Dragon Aileen designed by Kaiser Pratani with ice shards from the Blue Penguin Kingdom, which seems to shine like it is made from diamonds. However, Aileen smashes a breathtaking sculpture apart, shattering it into pieces, and replaces the sculpture with those dried sweet potato snacks gifted to her by Sejun. It looks like her storage room possesses magic preservation permanently, so she decides to save the sweet potato snacks in that place, mentioning that it's a gift from her human, Sejun. After that, Aileen gets curious and peeks at Sejun to view his recent activities through her crystal ball, and witnesses him taking a nap with the bunnies. Reckoning that there might be danger around him, she calls herself a great black dragon, planning to monitor the cave surroundings to keep her farmers safe. Meanwhile, our boy, who is sleeping peacefully with the bunnies, gets disturbed by the admin, who tells him to get up immediately, warning him not to take a nap, which indicates danger. At that moment, Sejun and the bunnies catch a glimpse of someone standing above the cave, who is spying on them from above. Panicked, Sejun frantically utters that it's a monster, while the admin orders the baby crimson grizzly bear to get away as it looks at the fruits on Sejun's farm. Suddenly, the baby bear steps on an unsettled rock, stumbling right into the cave. Our guy quickly makes a move and rushes towards the baby bear to save him, and the baby bear lands safely, crashing right into Sejun's arms. Thinking that it's a dog, our fella realizes that a crimson grizzly cub has just fallen into their cave. While holding the baby bear in his hands, our guy reckons that it's the cub of the blue moon monster, but the baby bear seems so cute and tiny compared to the scary parent. The admin scolds him for catching the crimson grizzly cub, but our fella couldn't help but save the poor thing who fell into the cave. Assuming that his mother must be looking for him, the dungeon administrator pressures Sejun to make the baby bear leave and make the crimson cub leave immediately. Our guy tries to reason with her, saying that the baby bear is too small to leave the cave by himself and plans to wait until his mother comes. While the baby bear makes his way into the farm towards the bunnies, the admin warns Sejun that crimson grizzly bears are huge eaters and that the cub might eat all the food on his farm. Peeking at how tiny the baby bear is, Sejun denies the admin, believing that she's being dramatic. The crimson grizzly cub approaches the young bunny, and the black bunny pats him on the head, and they become friends. Meanwhile, the queen honey comes out of her beehive along with the baby bees and catches a glimpse of the red baby bear. The angry baby bees detect a stranger in the cave who is the baby bear and scares off the cub with their buzzing attack, making him run towards Sejun. Our guy stops the baby bees from attacking the bear, making them certain that it's not an enemy, and the cub falls into Sejun's lap out of fear. Muttering that it must have shocked them by the sudden bee attack, he reckons that the baby bear approached the queen bee because she smelled sweet. Sejun then calls upon the queen honeybee, who doesn't seem too happy with the bear, knowing what he wants. The queen bee starts pouring out honey, dropping it into the cub's hand. Believing that the bear must have been drawn by the sweet smell of honey, the crimson grizzly cub is delighted by the delicious honey and craves more as it clings to Sejun, asking for more. But it seems like the dungeon admin is not enjoying any of this, as she sends quests to our guy, ordering him to kick the bear out of the cave, and offering him one reward. Intimidated, the admin gets furious at the crimson grizzly cub, scaring it away, but Sejun fights her back and tells her to stop being angry at the little kiddo, arguing how possibly the small bear could eat. The admin makes it clear that she is only trying to remove the cause, which is the baby bear that could lead to his farming destruction. He supposes that now the admin is being mean to that poor little thing. He blames the dungeon dragon for this incident, as she is the one who startled the cub, which made him slip and fall into the cave. The manager admits her mistake, but she demands Sejun to listen to her and make this cub leave right this instant. However, our guy hugs the scared baby bear and mentions that the manager also admitted him into the tower by mistake. Our soft-hearted main character appeases the baby bear, clasping him into a hug. Meanwhile, the bunnies and bees watch this heart-wrenching sight. The admin also looks at him through the magic ball and gives up, telling Sejun to do whatever he wants. Thinking why the admin would be jealous of the cub when it barely eats anything, the administrator finally leaves. Deciding to let the baby bear go when the time comes, our guy informs the kiddo about the scary admin being gone, and the cub finally falls asleep. Watching the adorable baby bear sleep, Sejun lets it sleep in the cave for the night, not wanting to let him go. The other day, as Sejun is taking a nap, the crimson grizzly cub is not in its place, which smells like trouble. As the sleepy black bunny comes out of his house, his eyes are wide open and let out a loud scream, waking Sejun up as lets out what's the matter. Wondering where the cub went, he walks over to the bunnies, who are boiling with anger. They witness all their storage food has been scattered all over the place, and the cub has attacked their storage, eating everything they've saved for themselves. Panic-stricken, while the bunnies try to stop the baby bear, Sejun peeks at the storage, finding out that they've lost a third of the sweet potatoes and the carrots, but the cherry tomatoes are safe and sound. The angry bunnies start chasing the baby bear, who has eaten all their food and is saved by Sejun. Grabbing the crimson grizzly cub into his hands, Sejun realizes that it got heavier and grew a lot overnight, as it was as tall as the bunnies the other day. But he speculates, since he is in the dungeon, it's not unusual to eat and grow quickly. Recalling the warning by the dungeon admin, our guy regrets not listening to the admin's order. While he ponders, the administrator shows up again and reveals that the crimson grizzly cubs eat like pigs, and they can consume hundreds of pounds of anything they find edible. Flabbergasted, our fella then apologizes to the admin for not listening to her warning about the cub, as he thought that the admin was jealous because he fed the baby bear, but it seems like the admin had other reasons. Nonetheless, the admin accepts his apology and convinces Sejun that his only priority is to let the crimson grizzly bear out of the cave. Our guy agrees to let go of the baby bear, but he gets confused about how he is going to make it happen, and in that moment his brain does something creative. It looks like his far-fetched thoughts have come to life, as he ties the grass onion rope onto the cub, making sure of its safety, and commands the bunnies who are positioned outside the cave to pull the rope as he counts to 3. The grass onion rope is tightly grabbed around the tree, and the bunny gang along with the bees pull the rope with all their strength as they lift the baby bear. However, the baby bear doesn't seem happy about leaving, refusing to go. Asserting that it must get back to the mother, our guy offers some honey to the baby bear, and it finally leaves in peace. While the cub waves goodbye as it enjoys the honey, Sejun and the bunnies take a deep sigh of relief. As he knows that the cub made it safely to its home, he appreciates the bunnies for their hard work. In the meantime, their stomachs start to rumble as they get hungry after such strenuous work, and with all their storage food finished by the sneak attack of the baby bear, Sejun suggests filling their hunger with the only thing that's left, the cherry tomatoes. A few days later, all the cherry tomatoes seem to blossom on the farm. The number of troubling events wreak havoc in their lives. Another trouble comes knocking on their door as Sejun and the bunnies get frightened by the overwhelming guest, which seems to be the crimson grizzly cub along with its mother peeking into their cave. Watching the cub is back with its mom, he thinks that it's the end of life, as he assumes that the parent bear is here to eat him alive for kidnapping her cub for a day. Begging for his life, he cries out and tells the bear that all he has eaten are cherry tomatoes, but that is not convincing enough for a bear. The unpremeditated entry of the monster frightens the life out of them, and Sejun anticipates that this is the end, getting reminded of his family for the last time. But these thoughts blow away in a second when the administrator makes them certain that the parent bear is not here to harm them. It turns out that the admin understands what the crimson grizzly bear is trying to say. The admin further mentions that the mommy bear wishes to feed her cub with some honey. Realizing that the bear wants the honey, the red monster roars, while the admin interprets that in return for the honey, she offers to keep the cave's surrounding area safe. The red monster lands in her huge paws inside the cave, and Seijin agrees to hand her the honey. However, it seems like it wants Seijin to hop on her hand, as stated by the dungeon admin. Feeling on top of the world, our guy gets on her paw and looks at his baby crops which he had so much fun growing, and waves them goodbye as he finally leaves the cave. Fulfilling his far-fetched dream, our fella finally gets to see the beautiful view outside the cave and peeks at what the real dungeon looks like. Mesmerized, he is astonished to see such a huge land with an aerial view as the bear lifts its hand above the ground. Confused about where that bright light is coming from, the admin unfolds that it's the waypoint. Our fella seems to be filled with wonder as he finds a way to escape the tower by traveling through the waypoint to reach the first floor of the dungeon and leave the tower. Contemplating that he can't travel across the vast barren land all by himself, he wonders how he is going to get there. Our guy holding the crimson cub asks the mother bear to take him to the light. However, it seems like the bear cannot help Seijin as the admin reveals that it's not part of her territory. And on top of that, to reach that waypoint, he must kill 3,000 monsters to pave his way. Flustered by this new information, the admin proceeds that the crimson grizzly bear says that her territory only covers the forest all the way to Seijin's cave, and most monsters don't enter here because it borders a barren land, claiming that she can't guarantee his safety if he gets out of her territory. In the meantime, the bunnies leap out of the cave and the black warrior bunny brings Seijin his backpack for which he thanks him. Meeting again, the cub grabs the black bunny, hugging him tightly while the bunny pats its head out of love. After that, a gruffed voice snarls from the back and Seijin gets reminded of the promise he made with Mommy Bear, handing the honey bottle to the cub. As the crimson grizzly cub showers the poor black bunny as it drools all over him, our boy pours the honey into the cub's paws, and it starts licking it right away. The mama bear seems to be happy after seeing her cub eating honey and sniffs the sweet smell of the honey. Watching the mama bear sniff the honey, Seijin offers her to eat some, but she refuses. The admin translates that the mama crimson bear wants her cub to eat honey to the fullest, and let him have more because there's not enough food around the forest, leaving her cub with stunted growth. Mama bear further reveals that he grew much bigger overnight in the cave, leaving her to think the sweet honey helped him grow. As she speaks, Seijin and the queen bee are reminded of how the baby bear ate their entire storage food. Complimenting the queen bee as her honey was helpful, Seijin speculates with no food around the forest the mama bear must have been hungry, and asks her if she had eaten anything today, as it was revealed by the administrator that crimson bears are big eaters. The admin tells Seijin that mama bear hasn't eaten anything for the last 3 days in search of the cave. Listening to this, our guy gets shocked. While instructing the mama bear to take care of herself, he commands the black warrior bunny to get back to work as they have to prepare a whole feast. Chef Seijun prepares his pans and dagger, the black warrior bunny hunts down the fishes with his hammer, and while Sickle Bunny chops off the vegetables. Preparing a mouth-watering feast, he tosses in the vegetable and the chunks of the fish, cooking and stirring at a high flame. As the feast seems to get ready, we get to see plenty of food along with the grilled fish, green onion skewers, and the fish stew with tomatoes and carrots. Glancing at the steaming and scrumptious food, the red bears stare at the food with full admiration. Mentioning that it's a flavorful, nutritious fish stew that tastes good, he tells Mama Bear to stay well-fed so she can raise a healthy child. As the cub digs in the stew, the mama bear, feeling overwhelmed with all the delicious food, grasps Seijun and the bunnies in a tight hug, showing her gratitude towards them. Meanwhile, the mama bear is thankful to him. The black dragon witnesses the wholesome moment through her crystal magic ball. It seems like this was all planned by Aileen as she reveals that she has been watching the bear since the cub left his home, worried that the bear might attack Seijun, but she later learned that the crimson grizzly bear wanted to have a friendly relationship with a human. For that reason, Aileen offered to translate for the bear, and it all worked out well. The dragon further schemes, assuming that if Seijun leaves the cave and expands his farm, she will get more food, and with the bears serving as security guards, she will have nothing to stress about the human safety. Reckoning that she had killed 2 birds with 1 stone, Aileen thinks of her as a genius black dragon. The next then flashes to the Peddlers Association Investigation Bureau headquarters, where the fox named Agent Jaras is interrogating the peddler cat Teo, reflecting that she doesn't have enough information about him, and assumes that he seemed to be on bad terms with the goblin Skaram, depict that he's not the most skilled peddler. Thinking about how Teo managed to make those sales, a dog agent comes in informing Jaras of the recent incident about the stolen products on the 55th floor from the landowner's storage, and hands in the stolen item list to her. Frustrated, Agent Jarrus seems to get done with handling petty cases. However, another agent arrives at the scene informing her about a peddler cat who arrived on the 75th floor through the peddler pathway, suspecting that it's Teo. Agent Jarrus instantly gets up, takes her blue cape, and heads out to find Teo, expecting that she will certainly hunt him down this time. The next morning, Mama Bear and the cub again show up at the cave. Greeted by Seijun and the bunnies, he asks the bear to help lift him. Our boy narrates that it's been 3 days into the deal with the Mama Bear. She drops off her cub with them and goes about her way to guard the area. Moreover, they've been preparing to move out of the cave as they settle in a new place. And they've also been cultivating the land, but the soil is not as fertile as in the cave. While Mama Bear sets out to patrol the area, Seijun provides her with food wrapped in green onion leaves to eat while she monitors the area. Analyzing the soil that is too dry and there are way too many little rocks, it seems like the dungeon soil is not suitable for farming. Ruminating about the soil, Seijun witnesses the baby bear playing in the soil as he brushes against the soil, removing the rocks from the way as the bunnies keep collecting it in the wheelbarrow, making the job easier for them. Our boy rewards the red baby bear with a sweet potato. As the bunnies gather all the rocks, Seijun notices that the cub will be tall as him in a few days, and ponders if they would have lived in the cave, it would have been horrible. After that, our guy begins planting the root vegetables. Given the land is very arid, he plants the sweet potato first, receiving multiple rewards for planting the sweet potato root. But it looks like all the roots they had planted are eaten by the baby bear as he digs up the soil and steals all of them. Seijun scolds him for eating everything they've planted, making him clear that it's not a treasure hunt game, planning to redo the cultivation. While the baby bear's whimpers, the bunnies continue to scold him, and Seijun decides to teach the meaning of planting something. The next scene takes us to the 38th floor of the dungeon, where the famous Teo the peddler announces an auction of 1,800 cherry tomatoes in batches of 300. As the hunters begin bidding for prices, he sells the cherry tomatoes for lower than the last time, hoping that there will be more naive people who take his tomatoes for high prices. Soon after that, Dongshik approaches the cat, and Teo asks him about the completion of the contract that they had signed earlier. Dongshik proceeds to tell the cat to inform Seijun that he has nothing to worry about as the leader of the Phoenix Guild has reassured his family. Teo asks him about not entering the bid this time, to which Dongshik answers that he needs something other than tomatoes this time. As Teo ruminates what it could be, the leader asks him to take a selfie with him, mentioning that her daughter loves cats. Requesting compensation, Dongshik hands him a bag of chili pepper flakes, adding that the Koreans can't live without this spice, and Teo decides to give it a try. As Dongshik tries to stop him from licking the chili, poor Teo leaps in the air after the spice hits his tongue. Later, Teo gets his rucksack upgraded, which can now carry a few more hundred tomatoes, while his tongue still feels numb. Feeling satisfied after investing his commissions into upgrading the rucksack, he believes that he can save 1,000 dungeon coins at this rate, which will make him an intermediate peddler, and soon he will dominate Seijun's lap as a president. Deciding to stop by the shopping district in the middleman zone to finish up on Seijun's errands, Teo smells something on his way and treats himself to some delicious snacks at a discount. With his another successful haggling round, he encounters the same fox from before who nearly got scammed by Skaram and calls her a pushover. Agreeing that she's the same peddler from before, Jarrus feels annoyed after being called a pushover and reckons that he's the one who ruined her mission. She then introduces herself as Jarrus. As Teo asks what he can do for her, she offers him to take him out for lunch to appreciate his kindness. But Teo, without a second thought, turns down her lunch offer, but Jarrus insists on drinking tea with her, but the cat again refuses, mumbling that he doesn't like hot drinks. She forces him to go to a nearby dessert cafe where her friend works, adding that they also have a special pudding that is best in the town. Annoyed, Teo turns her down again, saying that he doesn't like sweets either, and concludes that she's being very clingy. Thinking that Teo is a difficult peddler to deal with, she pulls off a dramatic act and begs Teo as she kneels to the ground, revealing that she became a peddler to make a living and got inspired by his attempt to detect Skaram's scamming, adding that he helped a total stranger expecting nothing in return. Putting on an emotional act, Jarrus lets out that she truly admires him, extolling his skills as a great peddler. She wishes him to gain some knowledge about business from Teo. Flattered by her words, he gets convinced by her determination and decides to go with her to the cafe, agreeing to share some business secrets with her. The clever agent succeeds in her plan of putting an act and supposes that no one can resist flattery and begging as she finally persuades the peddler cat. When the agent asks Teo where he is headed, he mentions that he is on his way to the blacksmith to get something. Thinking that he's trying to buy weapons, the cat makes her certain that she will find out when they get there. Heading to the blacksmith's shop, they wander across the market, glancing at all the stuff. Jarrus informs Teo about the blacksmith's workshop with quality items, but Teo heads to the shop he wants to, and tells her that he doesn't care about those. Finally, they enter a shop with a 50% off clearance sale. Assuming that it's a clearance warehouse, Agent Jarrus speculates that it's the place where people sell random, unverified scrap items, confused about Teo's secret that he's trying to teach her. Approaching the shop owner, who's reading a newspaper, Teo confirms the sale that reads everything is 20 dungeon coins. The shopkeeper agrees and tells him most of the stuff is unverified with unknown value, and offers Teo to pick whatever he likes. But the peddler cat objects. Banging his hands on the table, he asks for a discount. Watching this, Jarrus is left confused after knowing what secret he wants to share. She presumes that Teo is asking for a discount when the items are already on discount, thinking that's shameless. However, she witnesses him haggling for the prices. As he keeps bargaining with the shopkeeper, they finally settle on 13 dungeon coins as Teo promises to be a regular customer at his shop. Flaunting his haggling skills to Jarrus, who compliments him on his face, but in the back of her mind she thinks that it is dreadful. Wondering what kind of weapon he would buy, Teo picks on a hat. Shocked, Jarrus lets out that it's just a straw hat and looks like a useless item. The shopkeeper gives her a deadly stare, asking if she has a problem with his store, while Teo calls out for her rude behavior, to which she instantly apologizes. Taking the straw hat as he seems to like it, Teo gets reminded of Sejun, who told him to choose whatever he wants. Departing from the clearance warehouse, Teo, after sharing his secret with her, pats on her shoulder, wishing her luck with the peddling career, and waves her goodbye. Assuming that she would look suspicious if she followed Teo, Jarrus decides to call it a day. However, something interesting catches her eye. She catches a glimpse of Teo's straw hat that looks similar to the item she saw in her office among the items that had gotten stolen from the landowner's storage on the 55th store of the dungeon, and sets out for her job. The next scene takes us to the cave, where we see Sejun shaking off the carrot seeds and collecting them sooner than expected. Recalling that the cub had eaten half of the carrots that they had stored, which made the bunnies anxious, he plans to plant half of the seeds in the cave and half of them outside in the dungeon. Meanwhile, the young bunnies collect the fish in the wheelbarrow. Our guy wonders if it's already time to eat, and he asks the bunnies about making fish soup for lunch. Asking Sickle Bunny to cut the fish into pieces, he concludes that Mama Bunny has lost her appetite lately, and goes on to get some fresh tomatoes. Harvesting 10 cherry tomatoes at once, Sejun gets leveled up, earning plenty of rewards with the new effects added to his harvesting level, presuming that he can now even harvest higher level products with a small chance. Excited to try the tomatoes, he thinks about his skills, but gets called upon by the bunny couple to join for lunch. Leaving all the distractions, he sets out to make lunch. Preparing the healthy fish soup for the pregnant wifey bunny, our guy makes a delicious healthy fish soup. It is revealed that the healthy fish soup is a bowl full of Sejun's love of the mama bunny. This bowl contains boiled fish, gently boiled in a carrot and green onion broth, and the clear, warm broth leaves a pleasant flavor. Taking care of the expectant mother, our guy advises her to eat well and take care of herself as a mother, assuring the bunny couple that they will handle all the farming. Assuming that the due date is coming soon, Sejun asks the black bunny if he's excited to meet his future siblings, to which he happily nods. As the baby bear sneaks up from the cave at the perfect timing, our guy takes all the prepared food outside to eat along with the bunnies, and thanks the sickle and wagon bunny for their work on the cave farm. Revealing that Mama Bear helped them build a manual elevator using a big rock as a pulley, our guy ties the food box through the green onion rope. He wraps himself with the rope while the baby bear pulls the rope using the rock as a pulley. Narrating that their day starts with breakfast, as the cub pulls them out of the cave with the pulley, he is still astonished by the massive rock that Mama Bear delivered, and it made their escape route from the cave easier. Our guy then appreciates the baby bear for his hard work, and it seems like the cub had grown taller and stronger as he ruminates that he pulled him out faster than the other day, supposing it because of the amazing breakfast he had brought with himself. After that, Sejun offers roasted sweet potatoes to the cub, and his eyes are filled with admiration. Our guy speaks out that he had saved some sweet potatoes for him after dinner, which pissed off the admin. The baby bear tosses the whole roasted sweet potato into his mouth. He stares at the last sweet potato, grabs it into his mouth, and rushes towards the ground. Confused about this weird behavior of the cub, Sejun wonders what he's trying to do, but the crimson grizzly cub digs up the soil, placing the sweet potato to plant it. While Sejun and the bunnies watch the baby bear planting roasted sweet potatoes, which the cub seems proud of, they all burst into laughter, tripping to the ground. Sejun clarifies that not everything can be planted, and cooked stuff doesn't grow anyway. Asking the cub if he wants more sweet potato, Sejun reflects that he hasn't had a good laugh in a while. Having a joyful moment, he suddenly steps his hand on something, and it seems like someone has planted dead fish into the soil. Terrified at the sight, Sejun and the bunnies are scared stiff when they see the dead fishes lying on the field. Our guy commands that they have to catch up to work, while the gloomy cub sits in the corner. In the cave, as the beehive seems to be populated with the bees, the queen poisonous honeybee holds something in her hand and seems worried about something. The next scene takes us to the dungeon, where the baby bear, who seems to be in a fighting mood, prepares to strike the black bunny who's standing with the hammer in his hand. It turns out that they're playing around. As Seijun stares at them, he wonders if they're training or playing, while the chunky wagon bunny carries the tomato juice in its wheelbarrow. Drinking the tomato juice, our guy thanks the wagon bunny for the juice as he was feeling thirsty, and while drinking he watches the baby bees flying out of the cave, and it appears that the poisonous honeybees are heading out for patrol. In the meantime, the poisonous queen honeybee emerges from the cave, and it seems like she is holding something in her wings. Watching the queen bee coming out for patrol, he thought she was reproducing. At that moment, the queen bee keeps something in Seijun's hands. As he takes a guess at what it could be, the queen bee along with the other honeybees set out to patrol the area. As our boy opens up the thing the bee had trusted him with, it happens to be the queen's poisonous honeybee's cocoon. It is revealed that the larva that only ate royal jelly by mistake will soon turn into an adult queen bee, and it appears that 10 days are left until the larva completely transforms into a queen bee. As Seijun stares at the larva, he realizes that it's a queen bee, which leads him to the conclusion that the hive isn't fully established yet. The boy then narrates that the premature birth of a larva that will soon transform into another queen bee could lead to the risk of her unstable base. Knowing the reason that the bee has to save her hive, our guy determines why the queen bee had given up on her baby cocoon. Holding the cocoon, our guy then decides to keep it safe and eagerly waits for it to turn into a queen, as he feels delighted to meet her soon. Later, Teo, who seems thrilled to be back at the cave, dances his way through the cave. Upon reaching, he witnesses something terrible. He catches sight of the red baby bear who is positioned right above the cave holding Seijun's backpack in its mouth. Frightened, Teo freaks out and assumes that the bear has killed Seijun. He sadly clasps onto the ground and recalls that he felt something strange as he left the 38th floor. Breaking down into tears, the poor cat had rushed to the cave as fast as possible, only to get the news of Seijun getting killed by the bear, and got furious as he couldn't even use up his remaining CEO hours. Leaping towards the baby bear with his sharp claws as Teo decides to take revenge from the red monster for his lost lap, our fella appears from behind and welcomes Teo back as he returns to the cave. Startled, Teo calms his nerves down. Bouncing back to the ground, the cat rushes towards Seijun in anger, surprising him with an unpremeditated cat attack. Worried, Teo asks him if he's alive and analyzes his lap, wondering how he made it out of the cave. As our poor guy holds onto a green onion rope on the verge of falling, the cat clings to his leg. Curious about all the things that had occurred while he was gone, Teo grabs his cheeks and asks him to spill everything about that crimson grizzly bear. Seijun then proceeds to explain the strange turns of unexpected events that had happened over time. Starting with the crimson grizzly bear, he asserts that this cub accidentally fell into the cave, concluding that now his mom is helping them to keep the cave, and in return, he agrees to give honey to the baby bear. Teo takes a sigh of relief, mumbling that he thought that Seijun was eaten alive by the baby bear, to which our guy understands the situation, given his huge size. Supposing that it's hard to speak the whole name of the baby bear every time, our guy decides to call him by his name. He requests Teo for a favor to ask the baby bear what his name is, to which he reveals that the cub doesn't know his name because he is just a little kid. Given that, Seijun plans to give a temporary name to the baby bear, and a good idea sparks in his mind. He decides to come up with the weirdest name and names the cub Be because he keeps crying. Listening to this creepy name, Teo and the bunnies stare at him with utter confusion, and Teo breaks the silence, letting out that he's not creative at all. But it seems like Seijun likes the idea, as he scratches and tickles the baby bear calling him Be, and he seems to love it as well. Jealous at the sight of Seijun playing with Be, Teo yells out and forces him to peek at the stuff, adding that he has completed all the missions and sold out on the magic cherry tomatoes. Asking Seijun about the amount of time he would give to Teo to be CEO, our boy utters that he would give him 38 CEO hours, adding unused hours from the last time. Delighted, Teo feels like the happiest cat and is determined to use all his CEO hours this time. Relaxing on the president's Seijun lap as he pours the treat into his mouth, the baby bear takes a mouthful of Teo's treat. Enraged, the cat gets out of control as he vehemently shouts at the poor baby bear for licking on his treat and snatching his CEO hours on Seijun's lap. He calms Teo down, but the baby bear bursts into tears, roaring out of sadness. Suddenly the forest starts rumbling and something comes running towards them with great speed. It turns out the mama bear had arrived at the scene after hearing her baby cry, coming crashing on the ground, producing a thundering sound. The loud roar scares the hell out of them, as the mama bear lands on the ground to save her baby, assuming that it's in danger. The furious mama bear gives them a deadly stare, as she seems to go stark raving mad after hearing her baby cry, roaring in her thundering voice. Poor Teo trembles with fear as he watches the angry bear standing in front of him, which frightens the life out of him. He introduces himself as a peddler and tries to make the mama bear clarify there was a minor misunderstanding between him and her son. Hopping mad, the mama crimson grizzly bear opens her mouth wide open with sharp teeth and lets out a piercing shriek. The sudden terrible shriek shakes everyone up, leading to cover their ears because of the deafening roar. Teo, sobbing his heart out of fear, promises the mama bear to be nice to her son, while Seijun clears up the situation by making her sure that nothing happened to her son. Convinced, Mama Bear stomps back to the forest to continue patrolling, and our guy takes a sigh of relief as he thought that Mama Bear would have killed Teo for sure. Petrified by the situation, tears keep streaming down Teo's face. The cat thanks Seijun for speaking on his behalf and clearing up the situation with Mama Bear. Seijun enfolds the weeping cat into his lap and apologizes to Teo for not telling him sooner about the bear thingy, while all the young bunnies gather around to make Teo feel better. The young bunnies comfort Teo by grooming him, and it lightens up his mood after feeling ticklish by their licking. The bunnies then start grooming Seijun too, and they all succeed to cheer up his mood. Watching Seijun, Teo, and the bunnies snuggling up to each other, Bei moves forward feeling guilty, and starts licking Teo as well. Teo apologizes to the baby bear and decides to be good friends, gently warning the bear not to steal much of his kitty treats. After a long day, all of them start yawning. Seijun along with the bunnies doze off with the giant baby bear as their pillow. Meanwhile, the bunny couple sneak up on them as they drown in sleep. The hubby bunny pulls the straw hat out of Teo's bag and puts it on Seijun's face to block the light. The next flashes to a different place than a dungeon, but it seems to be located inside the tower. This place seems to be surrounded by black dragons as they encircle a man who's trying to open the portal with all his powers. Striving to open the portal, the man named Kaiser Pratani fails to open it. As another young man named Anton Pratani enters the scene, telling him to calm down, Kaiser shouts at him and asserts how he can stay calm when he can't reach Aileen. It seems like they are family members of the Black Dragon Aileen Pratani. Kaiser reveals that it's been more than a decade since Aileen had her last seizure, and they did everything in their power to find the medicine only to witness that the portal is broken. He further proceeds with a broken portal and no response from the tower's emergency that has no other way to go to the other side and meet Aileen, adding that they are stuck inside the portal unaware of the things happening on the other side. Upon hearing this, Anton speaks up to him, letting out that if his Black Tower emergency system hasn't been activated, this leads them to believe that Aileen had not experienced any episodes, concluding that they still have time to go back. While the Black Dragons are also concerned about Aileen as she is also a member of the Pratani family, Anton, who also worries about her, utters that they're here because they care about her. It is revealed to us that there's a place in the tower, an administrator's space in the middle of the mana, which is connected with the tower, where the Black Dragons alternatively watch the tower and improve their strengths. However, Anton unravels that they had renounced the privilege of staying in the administrator's space for Aileen's sake, adding that they have gone through every harmful way to find treatments for healing her body to emancipate her from the dragon heart, and that is why they are here in the portal. Asserting that all the dragons feel the same about her, Kaiser tells him not to act cold, as no dragon would judge him for showing emotions. It appears to be that Kaiser is Anton's father, and Aileen is Anton's daughter. Listening to his father, he speaks out how he can stay calm as Aileen is her daughter, but he trusts her and assumes that she is responding well to the seizures. Kaiser then commands the Black Dragons to stand by until the towers open as they stand near the portal. Aileen's father presumes that they've already missed her expected episode date, leading them to think that her dragon heart must have seen positive changes. Wishing that it's true, Kaiser worries about her granddaughter, hoping she is doing well. The next scene takes to Aileen, who seems to enjoy her cherry tomatoes, tossing them into her mouth. Being all comfy in her room, she reads a book with a bucket full of cherry tomatoes settled near her. Wondering if the tomatoes have upgraded to level D, because now they have more flavor, she mumbles that before she used to eat several tomatoes to taste the flavor, but now she just needs to eat a few of them. Suddenly, Aileen's heart skips a beat for a second, which shakes her up. Holding her heart, she is left stunned after witnessing that her dragon heart, which never beats on its own for 100 years, has pounded. Assuming that her heart had pulsed and absorbed mana for a brief second, Aileen surmises that she should have had a seizure already, which makes her think that the red cherry tomatoes must have prevented the seizure as they acquire a unique ability. The unique feature of the tomatoes turns out to be that they increase mana a little bit. Presuming that these cherry tomatoes were just little snacks, they occurred to be a way to heal her dragon heart. Smiling, Aileen, the 200-year-old Black Dragon, compliments herself for finding something worth caring for, and that she has found a way to heal her heart. She becomes determined to take care of Seijun, asserting that it's a great honor to be liked by her. She peeks through the crystal magic ball and watches another unverified item on Seijun's head, which is the hat. Flaking out, Sejun gets interrupted by the admin who keeps annoying him. As he opens his eyes, our guy is startled by the notification window stuck so close to his face, unable to read the message. The admin reminds him of the risk of using an unverified item. Our guy asks her about the unverified item she is talking about, which turns out to be the straw hat he is wearing. The daddy bunny points to Sejun that he picked it out from Taeo's rucksack, ruminating that Taeo has bought an item. Our guy wakes Taeo up, but it seems like the cat doesn't want to leave the comfort of Sejun's lap. Laying Taeo down on the baby bear, the admin mentions that it's a farmer straw hat, while Sejun reads all the descriptions he gets to know the great features of the hat helpful for farming, and implores the admin to tell him about the item's requirement. Advising to inspect the item first, our guy asks the admin to send him the quest to inspect the item. The farmer hat disappears through the screen, while Aileen uses her incredible inspection skills and gets happy with the inspection results as she congratulates him for the item. After inspecting the hat successfully, another quest comes up requesting Sejun to promise to offer her a blue moon harvest, with the reward being the verified straw hat. Thinking that the next blue moon is approaching, and now that his farm has expanded, he can surely offer a blue moon harvest. The admin reveals her name to be Aileen Pratani for the first time, and demands he make a pinky promise to complete the quest. Getting to know the admin's name, Sejun doesn't seem surprised and mumbles that it's not a top secret. Upon hearing this, Aileen gets mad at him for taking this privilege for granted, and boils with rage as she threatens not to give the straw hat back. Blandishing, Sejun asserts that he is honored to know her name and makes a pinky promise to share the blue moon harvest. The admin feels happy and informs Sejun it was their first promise. As he shows his pinky finger, Aileen virtually makes a pinky promise through the magic crystal ball. Later, our guy completes the quest and earns a relic, which is the straw hat of Patrick the Saint of the Land. It is revealed that the relic, the straw hat of Patrick the Saint of the Land, belonged to Patrick the Farmer, who is also known as the Saint of the Land for saving many people from starvation. Moreover, there are only 10 of these relics found in the tower, and the user requirement is someone related to farming occupation. Sejun is intrigued by this straw hat, as there are only 10 in the entire tower, reckoning that he has never heard of such an item, which is also an ancient object. Thinking that his hat requires farming occupation instead of regular stats and levels requirements, our guy puts on the hat and finds out his farming levels, earning plenty of rewards. Assuming that he got lucky with the hat, he is filled with fascination after knowing that the skills he had earned from the hat are essential to developing harsh soil conditions in the dungeon. Praising Teo for having a great eye for such valuable items, he affectionately hugs the sleepy cat, smooching off his squishy paws. Confused, Teo awakes only to find out that he's appointed as a CEO for the next full week by his loving president Sejun, who then grabs Teo in his hands and does a cheerful dance out of happiness, while the cat is springing with joy after becoming a CEO, throwing off his paw in the air. Later, in the cave, Sejun with Teo settled on his lap, and all the young babies are anxiously waiting for something. Nervous, Sejun shakes his leg as he feels anxious. The cat who's resting on his leg asks him to stop the vibration he's producing from shaking. It seems like they're waiting for the mommy bunny to give birth to the babies, and they are all worried about not getting any news yet. As Teo asks to feed him a treat, the young bunnies take small strides across the cave, feeling anxious. After that, as the door finally opens, the sickle bunny carries the 3 adorable baby bunnies, while Sejun asks him if they're healthy. Considering that there are 3 babies, the daddy bunny walks out of the house bringing 3 more baby bunnies. While Sejun and the bunnies are filled with admiration as they peek at the 6 adorable baby bunnies, our guy decides to cook soup for the mommy bunny who must have been exhausted after giving birth. Congratulating the bunnies, Teo walks forward and is delighted to see the babies as he stares at them with eyes full of love. Glancing at the adorable babies, Sejun informs Teo that he's now an uncle to the baby bunnies, and tells him that he will do a great job. Overwhelmed, Uncle Teo takes out his treat from under his cape and shares it with the babies. But Sejun stops him, asserting that they're too small to digest the treats. However, the clever president finds out that Teo has been hiding some treats. Guilty of his behavior, Teo tries to reason with him, saying that these treats are for emergencies. But our boy decides to forgive him on the special day. It is known to us that outside the cave, someone has entered into the 99th floor of the dungeon through the waypoint portal. It appears that they are dangerous dungeon monsters who have come to fulfill their hunger and claim everything on the barren land that can be eaten, as the blue moon is approaching soon. This command is given by the Ox King, who is the monster of the 99th floor of the dungeon, who is ordering his warriors to seek everything they find in their way. The next scene flashes back to the cave, where Sejun along with all the bunnies and bees work on the farm, as Teo looks after the baby bunnies. The next day in the cave, the farm seemed to expand and thrive when Sejun peeks at the cherry tomato field, witnessing plenty of more flowers grown in the field. With the field blossoming with flowers, our guy figures out how he gets a 50% yield boost. Presuming that it's his 7th blue moon in the cave, he notices that Mama Bear and her cub haven't visited the cave, thinking they must be preparing for the blue moon too. Finishing things up at the farm, as he also gets things ready, he catches a glimpse of Teo taking care of the baby bunnies as they run near the campfire. Uncle Teo instructs the babies to stay with him as everything is dangerous. Having no idea that Teo is a good babysitter, Seijun asks Uncle Teo about his babysitting life, but the cat seems to be exhausted already, adding that it's fun and proudly calls himself the best uncle. But it seems like Seijun and the bunny couple had tricked the poor cat into babysitting. As Teo walks over carrying all the baby bunnies on his back heading for an adventure, Seijun tells him to come back before dinner. Meanwhile, the blue moon is about to begin. The bunnies shut the doors of their houses. The bees get into their beehive. Seijun packs all the stuff in his backpack wearing a blanket, and Teo decides to save himself from the blue moon energy in his rucksack. Questioning if he will fit in there, Teo answers that his rucksack is big enough to make it a sleeping bag, mentioning that other rucksacks are as big as mansions. Getting to know about his super handy rucksack, Seijun hands in something important to the cat to hide it in his rucksack until the blue moon ends. It turns out that our guy had trusted Teo with the queen bee's cocoon, and the cat makes sure to keep it safe in his soft fur. At that moment, the blue moon begins, and Seijun hides in the corner of the cave. Suddenly, he hears a very loud shrieking. Supposing that the noise sounds like cows passing by the cave, he gets scared and puts his earmuffs on. While the blue moon rises, he looks over at his farm and realizes that there are plenty of tomatoes with blue moon energy this time, and gets even more delighted when he watches over the cornfield that also seems to get the blue moon energy, and prepares himself for a plentiful blue moon harvest. Soon, the blue moon ends and Teo inspects outside the cave and informs Seijun about the clear situation of the dungeon. As Seijun lifts himself by the pulley, the cat speaks out that it would be better to come out of the cave when the bears are around, mentioning that it's still dangerous out there. Realizing that monsters passed by the cave during the blue moon, Seijun mutters that he needs to check the field and will come back after taking a glance, as he also has to harvest the blue moon crop. However, Teo couldn't stop himself from joining the president. As they made their way to the fields, they witnessed big monster footprints on the land, which had destroyed their sweet potato field. Reckoning that the monster must be powerful for how deep the soil they dig, our guy figures something out and rapidly climbs on the big rock. Reaching up, he hastily kneels to check something with the soil. Grabbing the soil in his hands, our guy finds out that the dungeon soil is not as dry and barren as it used to be. The soil has become more moist and sticky, making it perfect fertile soil. Never thought of finding such a fertile layer underneath the dungeon's soil. Our guy manifests to bring the barren land back to life with the fertile soil. Planning to overhaul the land completely, Seijun gives it a thought and utters that they have no machinery like forklifts or tractors to make their work easier, and they cannot burden the shovel bunny to handle all the work by himself. In the meantime, the notification befalls from the admin, asking Seijun what he is doing up there, who seems to be going back to the cave. The admin warns them to be careful of the monsters, as with the blue moon gone, the territorial boundaries are blurred, instructing them to move back to the cave. Our guy then greets Aileen and asks about her well-being. She responds that she seems to be doing well and tells Seijun to take care of himself first as the farmer. As the admin seems to care much about him, our guy gets the hint that she's waiting for her promise to be fulfilled. He informs Aileen that there are plenty of blue moon tomatoes today. Landing in the cave, Teo seems to be tired and goes to sleep, while Seijun heads to the cornfield and catches a beautiful sight of fully grown corn filled with blue moon energy. It seems like Seijun has harvested a health corn with blue moon energy, and it increases health by 0.1 point when consumed. Admired by the sight of that health corn, Seijun realizes that it's a level D crop which boosts stats twice as much as level E do, and is about to take a mouthful of that delicious corn, but gets interrupted by the admin who's waiting on her cherry tomatoes. Fulfilling his promise, Seijun plucks out the blue moon cherry tomatoes, offering 5 of them to the admin. Aileen receives her blue tomatoes, mumbling that if the regular tomatoes made her dragon heart beat, the blue moon tomatoes might be more effective, and eats all the blue cherry tomatoes at once. Amazed by the delicious flavor, Aileen focuses on her mana flow, and eventually, her dragon heart pounds again, skipping a beat. But before she could process anything, it seemed like the dragon experienced a seizure as she collapsed on the floor. Later at the cave, Seijun harvests the blue moon corn and boils it in the pot that Teo had bought from the market. As the pot rattles with the corn boiling in it, our guy walks through the steaming corn. He puts the leaves to dry on wooden sticks to make silk tea leaves out of it, finding another drink option to enjoy. While the bunnies are greeted by him, Seijun asks the daddy bunny about the little kiddos who seem to be napping with their mommy. Planning to share the blue moon corn with the bunnies as it cooks, our guy shows the plentiful blue moon harvest to them. However, the kind daddy bunny tells Seijun to eat the corn by himself and they will eat the cherry tomatoes. but the young bunnies are disappointed after hearing this, frowning at them from the back. Appreciating the daddy bunny's kindness, our guy feels bad for not sharing the corn with the bunnies, and decides to harvest the corn to enjoy them together for dinner. Finally, the delicious steaming corn seems to be done. Sejun holding the steaming hot corn, and mentions that it must taste good since its level D produces and contains blue moon energy as well. Meanwhile, the bunnies eat the blue cherry tomatoes, enjoying them to the fullest. Daddy bunny takes 2 of the cherry tomatoes for himself and the wifey bunny to eat them inside. As Sejun takes a bite of his corn, he falls in love with its sweetness, letting out that each kernel is bursting with flavor, and the more he chews on it, the more sweeter it gets. While he's munching on his corn, the young bunny stares at him desperately. Eating the entire cob, his health increases by 0 points. One permanently tosses the cob into the blazing fire. After eating, Sejun and the bunnies are all stirred up to harvest the corn and head to the cornfield. Our fella begins harvesting the corn as they seem nice and ripened. He plucks out the corn and reads the status window of the health corn, asserting that each corn dissolves 20 grams of body fat and increases health by 0.2 points when consumed. However, when eaten by a non-awakened, each dissolves 20 grams of fat and improves skin elasticity. Reading the benefits, he ruminates that his mom would like this health corn as it improves skin elasticity. Thinking that he should send some for his harvest to his family with his regards, Mama Bear with her baby arrives at the cave, and Sejun greets them. Coming out from the cave, our guy asks them about their well-being and offers the cub some honey, as he must have been hungry for not eating anything all day. As the cub seems to enjoy the honey, the crimson grizzly bear looks at her baby with satisfaction, and Sejun fetches some grilled fish for the mama bear. In the meantime, Teo comes out of the cave and seems to be heading out for work. Sejun asks him to get more sleep, but the cat refuses to waste time and speaks out that he's a professional peddler now. Appreciating Teo's strong work ethic, the cat hops onto Sejun's leg and requests to get a ride to the peddler pathway. The baby bear clenches Teo's cape by his teeth while the cat hangs from his mouth like a clock string. The mama bear and the cub drop off Teo to the pathway, and Sejun plans to repair the field. The next scene takes us to the Ox King, the monster of the 99th floors, who seems frustrated and furious with the warriors as they collect nothing but clay which is not edible. Not finding a single thing in the dungeon, one of the warriors lets out that the land is barren and there's nothing left to eat, adding that they haven't seen green leaves in their territory for ages. The Ox King speculates that they used to have so much to eat, but now all they are left is clay, and gets disappointed. The Ox King ponders about this situation, unraveling that this land used to be a fertile green plain. It is revealed to us that the monsters of the Black Towers are the most powerful warriors defending the 99th floor waypoint. Adding the oxen must make up for the energy loss caused by intense exercise during the blue moon, or else they have to suffer from muscle loss. For that reason, the Ox King commanded the warriors to disperse across the territory and feed on the grass closer to the blue moon. However, his warriors, known as the Minotaurs, were colossal monsters and needed an immense food supply, and their massive grass consumption resulted in an outrun of the available supply, which eventually turned the greenery into barren land. Coming back to the present day, the Ox King manifests that the young Minotaurs don't seem to have good muscle development, for which the need to eat quality grass is mandatory, as they need to stay powerful and maintain their pride as warriors. As the king calls for warrior 1103, he supposes that he must have got lost in the territory, but at that moment the Minotaur arrives and bows before the captain, explaining that after the blue moon, he had traveled so far and lost his energy. Happy to see him back, the king is left wide-eyed when he smells something coming from that Minotaur. As the captain furiously grabs him, he watches a root hanging on his horn, which smells sweet. The next scene is about the dragon who collapsed on the floor earlier and finally opens her eyes as her head hurts. She gives it a thought and mentions that she would have gotten better after eating those tomatoes, but instead, she passed out. Suddenly, Aileen gets to the level with the chandelier and asserts why it is hung so low and notices that her magic crystal ball seems too far from her. She realizes that she has grown taller. Wondering how she grew big, her mind drifts to the blue cherry tomatoes, guessing that blue magic cherry tomatoes must contain more magic than regular tomatoes, and she ate 5 of them altogether, which stirred up quite a reaction. Thinking that blue tomatoes must have caused chain reactions in her dragon heart and resumed her stunted growth, she comes to ponder that it was a temporary effect because her dragon heart had stopped beating again. Distraught, Aileen figures out that she cannot be treated instantly, but she still has a ray of hope to treat and heal her dragon heart. Cherishing her sweet little farmer Sejun, something catches her eye as she watches something through her crystal magic ball. It seems like her farmer and bunnies are enjoying delicious food together without her. Unable to see through the ball because of her giant size, she looks for her dad's big crystal, rushing to find it, and she gets stuck in the door. Squeezed by the tight door, poor Aileen gets herself jammed in the door and begins screaming as she craves food and snacks. Later in the cave, Bae greets everyone from above the cave, while it seems like the cave is bustling as the bunnies harvest the corn. While the couple bunny rips off corn leaves as they pile up behind them, the sickle and the black bunnies put the corn into the stick, and the wagon bunny carries all the corn, while the baby bunnies play around them. As the corn is being cooked at the campfire, Sejun thanks the wagon bunny for bringing the corn to him. Wrapping up as our guy completes steaming the last batch of corn, he finally removes the lid of the pan, revealing perfectly steamed corn. The admin, who seems to have found the bigger crystal ball, shows her interest in trying out the freshly steamed corn. Pouring out the corn on the green onion platter, Aileen sends a new quest asking him to share one cob of corn with the hungry admin. It seems like our sweet guy already thought of sharing the corn with her, and lets her know that he's grilling corn and will offer her one of that too. While the admin feels happy and waits for corn, the young bunnies carry the grilled corn to put them in the corn platter. Thrilled by the sight of scrumptious steamed and grilled corn, Sejun puts the seasonings on the grilled corn Teo had bought last time, thinking that it would have tasted better with butter. Chef Sejun grills the corn like a pro, coated in sugar, then sprinkles grated Parmesan cheese on top, as he reckons who would have thought of bringing cheese to the dungeon, and not forgetting the most essential red chili pepper, which he finds out sneaking into Teo's bag after finding the straw hat. Contemplating how Teo could not tell him about the red chili, which is such a treasure, he thinks of taking his job as a CEO, but manages to forgive him. Sprinkling the final ingredient, the grilled corn on the cob is ready to serve, seasoned with sugar, Parmesan cheese, and red chili pepper obtained from Teo's business, adding the flavors that are addictive. Grabbing that heavenly bite of the seasoned grilled corn, our guy thinks that watching those cooking videos all day has paid off. After that, he offers a bowl of corn to Aileen, for which she greatly appreciates her human farmer. Asking the bunnies if they like the corn, he witnesses the parent bunny struggle to eat as they are feeding the baby bunnies. To help the parent bunnies, our guy takes off the corns of the cob from the spoon into a bowl so that the babies can eat on their own, and tells the parent bunnies to enjoy their meal now while he can watch over the little ones. About to take his first bite of the corn, he burst into laughter after watching the baby bunnies play with their corn. Diving into the corn bowl to eat, they drench themselves into corn. After a good laugh, our fella helps the babies to take off the corns, feeling exhausted after realizing that it's not easy to watch kids and misses the CEO as he used to handle the babysitting. The boy then narrates in his survival diary how they enjoyed the corn harvest. The next scene takes us to Phoenix Guild's temporary base on the 38th floor of the dungeon, where the hunters seem to be eagerly waiting for the peddler to come, muttering that he's taking too long. Wondering if something happened to the cat, a hunter questions his member about why he's buying tomatoes as he already got them for his girlfriend. To which the boy spills the reason for buying tomatoes, which seems to be that rich people outside the dungeon are trading those magic cherry tomatoes at hefty prices. They're offering 500,000 won for each, adding that they should capitalize on this before the other hunters get to hear about it. In the meantime, Jessica lets out that they soon have to leave the mission downstairs, or they will run out of supplies and also have to report to the guild. To not further delay the mission for Teo, the leader of the guild instructs the team members that he will stay for the auction because he knows the peddler well, while the others leave for the mission. As the guild member leaves, it appears that Dongshik and Suha have stayed behind, waiting for the peddler. Dongshik is surprised to see Suha, as he thought that Jessica wanted to stay, but it looks like she has met her weight loss goals. Asking Suha if she's here for the auction, she reveals the real reason for staying, and it turns out to be Teo's squishy paws. After that, the scene flips to Teo, who reaches the peddler pathway on the 60th floor of the dungeon. Watching a huge tree, the peddler presumes that this pathway always feels the widest, as it leads up to the sky. Getting in line for the identification check for the peddlers, Teo checks himself in as a rookie peddler, and asserts that he would like to use the regular peddler pathway that leads to the 30 floors of the dungeon. As Teo makes his way into the peddler pathway, it seems like some wolves are furtively following him. It appears that the Silver Wolf clan is sneakily stalking Teo. Peeking at the montage made by the blacksmith, they recognize Teo, who had bought the straw hat. But the wolves speculate that the montage looks nothing like the cat peddler, despondent by the zero artistic talent of the blacksmith. The Silver Wolf, Elko, notices the cat doesn't have the straw with him, but Elki, the fellow wolf member, speaks out that he would never carry the hat in his hand, so it must be in his rucksack. As Elki asks them about Greed, the landlord, why is he looking for his straw hat, which is nothing special? Elka, who is the head of the Silver Wolf clan, commands him to do what is told, because they're the best free dungeon company, and only act on what their clients want them to do. However, Agent Jarrus, who is also furtively following Teo, witnesses the Silver Wolves and figures out that it is the straw hat that Teo had bought the other day, speculating that it must be important enough to hire mercenaries to do the job. Agent Jarrus lets the wolves follow Teo and move along behind them through the peddler's pathway. The next day, as sunshine beams over the dungeon, Seijun narrates that they've been repairing the dungeon field above the ground that was ruined during the blue moon. The bunnies and the crimson grizzly bears work on the field to remove the pile of dirt promptly. After the field is repaired, our guy decides to plant the new seeds he had bought, and it appears to be the peanut seeds, recounting that they had harvested the rest of the corn this morning and upgraded to level 16. Moreover, there is a slight change in the seed store as well. When Seijun taps to buy 1,000 peanut seeds for 5 dungeon coins, he surmises that these can recover the fertility of the soil, and the peanuts can also grow well on the barren land. The purchase of the new seeds upgrades him to the next level in the seed store, going from rookie to the ordinary level, where he will be shown 4 different types of seeds. Delighted, he receives the pouch of the peanut seeds and asserts that now he has jumped on the ordinary level, he will be able to select between 4 different types of seeds, exceeding his expectations. He gets curious about the next visit of the seed store as he wants newer seeds to grow on his farm. The boy continues to narrate about the corn stalks that only bear ears once. They chop down the corn stalks and move them to the dungeon field to cover the land where they've planted the peanut seeds to slow down the evaporation under the sun that never sets. After setting the corn stalks to save the peanut seeds from drying up and now they could wait longer between watering, our fella plans to work on other tasks. In the cave, he harvests corn, collecting seeds for a new batch of corn stalks by scraping the corn by the spoon into the bowl. Deciding on planting the seeds tomorrow as he soaks the corn into the water overnight, the baby bunnies sneak attack on his soaked corn, wanting to play with them. Refusing that the baby bunnies cannot play with them, our guy finds out that the babies have a low tolerance for boredom as all the grown-up bunnies are swamped with expanding the field above ground. To fix their problem, Seijun thinks of a fun idea that works suitable for the baby bunnies as he grabs his backpack and hands out small bags to the baby bunnies. Getting them ready for school, the adorable baby bunnies excitedly hang their tiny bags, looking extraordinarily cute while our fella instructs them to walk around with those bags and offers the working grown-up bunnies some carrots kept in their small bags. Telling to come back for a carrot refill, he makes the babies rush to deliver the supplies, and the small bunnies head out to distribute the carrots to the grown-ups. While the little ones hand out the carrots to the grown-up bunnies, Seijun thinks of asking Teo to bring some cute clothes for the kiddos, and imagines them in the cutest clothes ever, muttering that they would look adorable, but he can't even take pictures. The next scene takes us to the barren land where one of the minotaurs is looking for something. Stomping on the land, the minotaur doesn't remember where he saw those root vegetables before, realizing that he lost his memory during the blue moon. It comes about that Minotaur 1103 had been ordered to be sent back to the field, unwilling to carry the order he recalls upon the clear command by the Ox King, unfolding that the leader of the Minotaurs interrogates him about the root vegetables he had retrieved. As he utters that he must have found it somewhere near the territorial border, the king asks him if he had left the territory, but it seemed like the Minotaur had lost his memories. The king inspected the root vegetable, which smells rather sweet, and tossed it into his mouth. Astonished, the sweet potato in his mouth burst with sweet and savory flavors. He felt his energy rising immediately, fueling his muscles with energy. After tasting that utterly delicious root vegetable, the Ox King strongly commands the Minotaur to find out more root vegetables, as their future depends on it. Asserting that his honor depends on him, he sends him back. The Minotaur is left with no choice but to go back and find it to be saved from the punishment of his captain's enormous muscles. Back to the present scene, the Minotaur stumbles upon the border between the woods and their territory, wishing not to encounter the red monster as he has no energy to fight. A pleasant smell starts diffusing across the place. Following the smell, he witnesses a field blossoming with hundreds of fresh leaves lying on the ground. Delighted by these fresh, scrumptious leaves, the hungry warrior couldn't resist and started munching on the leaves right away, collecting all the leaves from the ground to take back to his territory, mumbling that the captain would love this. Suddenly, the crimson grizzly bear gets the hunch of an outsider roaming around the fields, rising to patrol the area, while the dungeon dragon is relaxing in the grown-up spa that she is finally big enough to use, recalling that it used to be deep for her. Enjoying her self-care routine, Aileen's precious self-care moment is interrupted by the red bear as she asks the admin to help her. Grasping the matter of the situation, Aileen wakes the farmer up, immediately alarming him about the traces of other monsters found near the cave by the crimson grizzly bear. As they move out of the cave, they witness all of their corn leaves and green onion leaves have disappeared from the field, and our boy is shocked by this raid from the monsters. Later, Teo seems to arrive on the 38th floor of the dungeon, greeting the guild members. The next scene takes us to the field, where Seijun is left bewildered after knowing that some kind of monster has broken into their farm field and taken everything. Recalling that he didn't hear a thing at night, the admin interprets for the crimson grizzly bear, who confesses that she suspects a monster with horns. Ruminating that they were the same monsters who dug the holes on the field during the blue moon, he noticed that they only took the leaves while the seeds were still in their place. Thinking that it might be a problem, Seijun decides to bring more tomato and green onion leaves to cover the peanut seeds. Assuming that now they should stay more careful and prepared, the admin elucidates that Mama Bear will be expanding her surveillance area, which our guy thinks is a great idea, and advises the bear to be cautious and take care of her health and safety. Realizing that they need to protect themselves, the crimson grizzly bear stomps back to the forest to patrol the area. Later, the bunnies fetch the queen bee cocoon resting in a comfy green onion basket with a soft pillow in it. They draw out the basket with the help of the pulley. Seijun reckons that the queen bee cocoon will be coming out of her pupa soon, so he asks the bunnies to cover for him and the cocoon as they create a deck chair and a patio kind of umbrella for a sunshade so that he can watch the queen bee come out. It is revealed to us that the first thing the bee sees, she considers it her master. In addition, the population of the poisonous honeybees has grown to about 200 swiftly. Thinking that if the new queen bee grows another colony, the bee population will increase in no time, leading Seijun to believe that they will be strong enough to keep their territory safe. Looking forward to meeting the queen bee, he begins to feel sleepy as his mouth opens into a big yawn, and he dozes off while thinking if he should give a sweet potato flower or a tomato flower to the queen bee when he meets her. Nodding off, the cocoon kept beside him starts to make movements, as the big bright light beams from inside the cocoon as it hatches, and the newborn queen honeybee comes into existence. It appears that she is Queen's poisonous honeybee junior. She peeks around, begins flapping her wings, and sits on Seijun as he flakes out. The first thing she peeks at is our fella Seijun, and the queen honeybee registers him as her master. Delighted by the flowers our guy grasps in his hand, she seems to be fond of the yellow tomato flower. While she holds the flower, the queen poisonous honeybee, who is the mother of the junior queen bee, encounters her. Meeting each other, they fly around together out of happiness. As it seems like they're up to something, the queen poisonous honeybee junior flies towards our guy and rubs against his cheek. Seems like she's saying him goodbye and glides away. As soon as our guy wakes up, he is bombarded with notifications. As the admin briefs him about the hatching of the cocoon, the newborn queen bee junior has registered him as her master, and he has increased his familiarity level with beekeeping ability. Surprised, he starts looking around for the newborn queen bee, but it occurs that she's gone. The next scene takes us to the monsters of the 99th floor. The Minotaur, who had come back after breaking into Seijun's farm stealing all the leaves, he hands the captain the leaves. The Minotaur reveals that he found the leaves abandoned on the ground near the border, assuming that it's a different kind of leaves from the last time and has never seen before. Captain Ox asserts that these leaves are not enough to share with everyone. It seems like the Minotaur had consumed all the leaves on his way, but the Ox King doesn't get furious with him, knowing the fact that they are tempted to eat a lot. Sniffing the leaves, the king decides to eat the leaves and is wonderstruck by the delicious flavor of the leaves, and he's full of energy now after consuming it. Overjoyed, he pats the Minotaur for finding those leaves, presuming that now they make their tribal land prosper again with an ample supply of the leaves. Processing the situation, Captain Ox thinks about the strange thing happening in the forest territory. He ponders how anyone could leave those leaves behind, adding if the 90th floor is undergoing some changes. Wishing that he could visit the area himself and gather as many leaves as he can, but the captain cannot leave the waypoint without knowing how much yield to expect. But he seems to have an idea and commands the same Minotaur who brought the leaves to find the exact source of the leaves, instructing him to inspect every single possibility. The caption proceeds that if someone left the leaves behind, it leads them to believe that someone grew them somewhere, and if someone abandoned the leaves on purpose, he orders the Minotaur to find out who it was. But before he can start the big mission, the Minotaur makes a request to take a quick nap as he seems to get into a food coma because of the big meal he had after a long time. Dreaming of taking a nap, the captain tells him to go right this instant, taking out his huge axe to scare him off, and the poor Minotaur quickly heads out to the forest. The next flip to the cat peddler as he arrives at the 38th floor and meets the hunters who have been waiting for him for so long. After revealing that he had stuff to take care of, the cat announces about the special cherry tomatoes he has brought this time. As the hunter mumbles that his tomatoes are always special, Teo unfolds that this time they are level D-produced cherry tomatoes. Believing that the peddler is spitting the truth, the hunters are amazed by the level D tomatoes because they dissolve 20 grams of body fat and increase magic by 0.02 points, adding that they do not even expire until 60 days. Knowing all these benefits, one of the hunters reckons the incredible profit margin on these level D tomatoes if he sells them outside the dungeon. In the meantime, Teo lets out that he will be auctioning 2,000 cherry tomatoes in 4 batches. As the auction begins, the hunters begin bidding for higher prices, and eventually, the cat sells out, and the cherry tomatoes are sold at great prices. After this auction, Teo's profit finally rises to 1,000 dungeon coins, feeling on top of the world as he thoughts of becoming an intermediate peddler, which was his dream all along, and he will finally be able to disclose the producer's name, laughing hysterically as he imagines that he no longer has to serve Seijun. Celebrating his moment of joy, Suha approaches him, asking him to take selfies with her, assuming that it's time to proceed with his next project as an intermediate peddler, and commands everyone to make a line to touch his paws and gives him rewards. Keeping his hopes too high, he takes a glance at the ground which seems to be empty, with only Suha standing to take a picture with him. Asking her why the ground is empty, Suha tells him that everyone went downstairs because it took him so long to come back, and Teo figures out why the auction felt quieter than before. Poor Teo hurts his pride as he decides to capitalize on being a CEO, and shatters down thinking his paws aren't a lucky charm anymore. Even the kitty treats don't lighten up his mood when Suha offers them to him. Later, some of the girls approach and point towards him, and recognize that he's the peddler cat. The girls ask Teo if he's the peddler cat who takes selfies with people, revealing that she saw him on Hunstagram, which seems to be the picture that Suha took with him, requesting Teo to take selfies with them. This uprising in the peddler's demand makes Teo's eyes sparkle with sheer happiness. As he smells money, the mastermind peddler stretches out his paws and tells them to pay to take pictures. Later, Suha shows Teo her Instagram account titled Phoenix Guild Hunter, booming with thousands of followers, and is filled with pictures of the wandering cat merchant Teo. Astounded, the cat figures out that the girls who were waiting here to take pictures with him had seen Suha's uploaded pictures on her social media. As Teo witnesses the account brimmed with his pictures, Suha thinks that Teo might be mad at her for posting her pictures without his permission, but it turns out that he loves the idea of posting pictures on social media, mumbling why she didn't tell him sooner. Instructing Suha to stop wasting and take more of him to post, the cat starts posing for the pictures, looking exceptionally adorable. She keeps taking his pictures with cuter angles while cherishing Teo for how adorable he is. It seems like the greatest cat influencer in history has ruled the internet with his super cute pictures with tempting poses. Flattered by Suha's compliment, the self-obsessed cat tells her to inform the people if they want to meet this cool and adorable cat, they can meet him on the 38th floor, and a generous compensation will make him dance as well. It looks like the clever peddler got a full package for cat lovers, tricking them with his squishy paws and adorable face. Exhausted from all the posing and pictures, Teo makes his way back to the cave and starts grooming himself to look neater in the pictures for the next time. Imagining his paycheck growing and dreaming of aiming for the president's position, someone messes up his perfectly neat hair. Wondering who it is, Teo confronts the terrifying silver wolves hindering his way. Horrified by the sneak attack of the wolves, chills are sent down his spine as the helpless cat is surrounded by big scary silver wolves with no escape route. Trembling with fear, one of the wolves frightens the hell out of him with his big claws encircling Teo and interrogates the cat, asking if he's the same peddler cat who bought a straw hat from the blacksmith workshop in the middleman zone. Scared to the core, the poor cat seems to be too terrified to even speak. The wolf roars at him with a thundering voice, wanting the answer to his questions, and asks him about the straw hat and what he did with it. As the wolf threatens the cat to answer his question before he chews him up, poor Teo starts crying out of fear. As the wolf is about to attack the cat with its claw, something comes crashing to the ground. Suddenly the smoke starts appearing from that thing. It appears to be a stink bomb that distracts the wolves from the cat. Diverting their attention, Agent Jarrus comes to Teo's rescue as she also had been following him, grabs his hand, and scampers off into the forest. Dashing away, the leader of the wolves commands his members to chase after them, but it seems like their mission gets flopped as the wolves struggle with the stink bomb, blowing away their noses with its pungent smell. Meanwhile, Agent Jarrus and Teo escape from the wolves, panting heavily. Finally losing the wolves, the peddler cat shows gratitude to her for saving his life as he nearly got killed, to which Jarrus mumbles that he also saved her life, so she just returned the favor. Appreciating her kindness, he pats her shoulders and insists on paying back her favor, asking if she likes grilled fish. Upon hearing that, Agent Jarrus infers that it's the perfect opportunity. She implores Teo to accompany him to learn more lessons from him like last time, and the cat happily agrees to her. As they head to the middleman zone, Jarrus takes him through a shortcut she knows, but the cat informs her that he needs to stop by the Peddlers Guild and request a promotion to the intermediate level. Shocked, Jarrus suspects him about promoting to the intermediate level, spilling that he's just been a peddler for a few months. Interrogating her for how she knows about him being a peddler for a few months, Agent Jarrus gets this close to exposing her identity as a secret agent. She ponders about not letting Teo find out about her being a secret agent for the Peddler Association Investigation Bureau. Grasping the situation, Teo seems to know everything about it. As the agent starts sweating out of anxiety, he lets out that Skaram must have told her about him. Triggered by the suspense, Jairus immediately agrees with him and tells him that Skaram voluntarily passed her all the information regarding him, without her even asking. As Teo goes on cursing Skaram for being a bad gossiper, Jairus takes a sigh of relief, as she nearly dodges a bullet with him. Curious, the secret agent inquires about how he managed to make 1,000 dungeon coins in such a short period. Tricking him into answering the question, she puts on an act, speaking out that a humble peddler like her cannot even imagine accomplishing this much, asking Teo what kind of special product he sells. Thinking the answer is apparent, the agent determines that the peddler is racking up such revenue in such a short period with the assistance of evil peddlers like Skaram who scam people. She suspects Teo and reckons about being unaware of who's behind him, or what kind of dangerous goods he's selling, and thinks of arresting him. However, her plans blow away in a second when Teo reveals that he sells cherry tomatoes to earn those dungeon coins. Left in disbelief, Jairus makes sure that the cat is talking about the fruit cherry tomato, while Teo promises to show her next time as he is sold out on the cherry tomatoes. Getting there, the agent gets suspicious of the peddler, and is baffled by the thought that he earned thousands of dungeon coins just by selling cherry tomatoes. The next scene takes us to the real world, in the United States, where the Vice President Michael McLaren chews on the new Level D tomatoes in the market, which dissolve 20 grams of body fat and taste better than Level E tomatoes. Asking Jenny about the cherry tomatoes they planted on Earth, she reveals that they have grown into ordinary tomatoes. Michael figures out the items come to effect only in the dungeon, and interrogates Jenny about the batch they planted in the tower, on which she asserts that they planted 100 Level E cherry tomatoes on the first floor of the dungeon, from which 10 of them germinated and are almost ready to harvest. The president appreciates Jenny for her hard work, and she gives credit to the Gagel's technology and experience, adding that they will soon be able to boost the germination rate by 50%. As she asks him about the budget draft for the project, McLaren informs her that it has been approved by the board, disclosing they have hired Awakened to wipe out the monsters around the farmland. Revealing all about the project, the president seems to be quite happy about it. Reckoning that those cherry tomatoes were a godsend, he utters that this wildest dream about the dungeon project will eventually come true. Later, Teo stops by the Peddlers Guild and receives his badge for becoming an intermediate peddler. He seems to be over the moon, and Jairus congratulates him. Assuming that they should keep going, the cat lets out that he has to visit the peddler's market to buy some stuff. Speculating about the peddler's market, she narrates that its marketplace is located in the middleman zone, where peddlers can flaunt their full abilities to the fullest. Each workshop and farm presents its best products and pieces, and the peddlers buy the stuff through auctions and resell the product for maximum profit, concluding that in this kind of auctions, peddlers' business skills are put to the test, adding that the market is like a battlefield where there is no space for mistakes. She assumes what kind of business skills he will show. Teo stops by the general store, which looks nothing like the blacksmith workshop. Muttering that he needs to buy some stuff, they enter the general store as Teo buys 2 pots, a saw, and a few threads and needles, while Jairus lets out that she thought that he was here to buy wholesale products. Reminding her that he sells cherry tomatoes, the secret agent hoped to see him flaunt his skills in the marketplace, but it seems like he is just here to buy some ordinary stuff for the farm. As Teo selects all the stuff he wants to buy, the shop owner, who appears to be a hyena, calculates all the stuff, and it totals to 2.4 dungeon coins. The secret agent guesses that these cheap pots and the other little stuff should cost no more than 2 dungeons, believing that the shopkeeper is overcharging him. She imagines Teo as a soldier and the shopkeeper as an evil swindler who's tricking the naive customer. However, the cat immediately asks for a discount, and Jairus gets reminded of the dreadful haggling from the last time, thinking that he will use the same trick this time as well. The shopkeeper gently refuses to lower the price, asserting that he's already selling them at wholesale prices. While Jairus supposes that Theo's haggling trick could only work at a clearance shop, the hyena lowers the price to 2.2 dungeon coins, letting out that it's a special offer for a nice customer like him. The secret agent learns about the hyena's advanced tactics by starting at a higher price, and then giving a discount, making it look like a generous concession. Assuming that the owner is a veteran, she imagines the evil swindler expecting the soldier to say yes this time. However, the clever haggler Teo asks for a steeper discount, but the shopkeeper refuses to make the prices lower. Not getting a discount, the peddler cat makes his way out of the shop, leaving all the stuff behind, and Jairus asks him if he's not going to negotiate further, to which he answers that the shopkeeper is not lowering the price, so they have to leave. Thinking that he was a foolish and innocent customer, Hyena finalizes and lowers the price to 2 dungeon coins, but Teo, who is now a best haggler, closes the deal at 1.8 dungeon coins. Agreeing on the price, the shopkeeper loses hope and packs all the stuff, while Jairus is lost in the thought that the peddler took advantage of the owner's desperation for sales and completely hampered the swindling attempt of the shopkeeper. She finally realizes that Teo is not some ordinary peddler, as he already predicted the outcome and played like a professional in the field. Agent Jarrus ponders about the negotiation and figures out that she belongs to a well-educated family. She would have agreed to pay 2 dungeon coins without stressing about the negotiation. She concludes that Teo did make 1,000 dungeon coins selling tomatoes, and realizes that she just witnessed the rise of a genius peddler. Optimistic, Theo finds out that he haggled 3 times as Seijun told him, as all he did was request a discount 3 times. After leaving the general store, Agent Jarrus appreciates Teo for his modesty and the humbling experience she learned from him. The cat offers her to grab a bite with him, but she refuses and tells him she shouldn't be bothering him any longer and to check out wolves, for they might attack again. As they part ways, Teo reckons how strange Fox she is, and he also makes his way to the cave, impatiently waiting to take a nap in Seijun's lap. It's the Peddler Association Investigation Bureau, as Jarrus seems to be writing something. Her agent informs about the director wanting to schedule a meeting to discuss Greed's stolen items, asking her if he should dismiss the meeting by telling him that she's busy. But Agent Jarrus tells the dog agent that she will stop by the director's office soon and hands him a report about the peddler cat they've been watching. She asks him to send it to the peddler pathway manager and inform them that they don't have to worry about him. As the dog agent witnesses that it is the peddler cat they were searching for, he reads the report, which describes Teo as a master negotiator, to which Jarrus mumbles that she's come across a real merchant after quite a while.